talents in our community range are so far diverse. The talents and the resources, the strengths, the love, all of these things are so abundant in the community of Unalaska that every person who had a task had someone to help them. Every person who needed to find a resource had someone who immediately stood up and said, I got that for you. They didn't have to ask. It happened. Over the years, the McDonald family has given so much to this community, and we have all given so much to each other, that when it came time for a need for the Renterias and the McDonalds, the love goes so deep. The love goes so deep for all of you. And you don't even know a lot of these faces. But they know you. And they feel a fierce love for the community they belong to. And that is you. The fabric that we are made up of is you. And we are holding that fabric together with the talents and the resources, the physical strength, the emotional strength, the intelligence, the fierce love, the youth, the age, the wisdom, the humor. And in all of this, we have laughed and we have cried, we have been angry, we have blamed, we have forgiven, we've tried to understand, we've held on to hands tight. Because at this time in Unalaska, this is the time when our hearts come together. And survival is forgiveness, survival is gratitude, survival is faith, survival is the face that you're looking into right next to you, and the one that is looking right back at you. And that was a sound check. So I was worried that I didn't have a speech written for tonight. But I guess I didn't have to, because you just wrote it for me. This room holds over 650 people. And we have more people that are being seated in the auditorium. Channel 8 is filming us. And we've got a live feed. We have a live feed that will be available on the KUCB Facebook page. And the evening that we will be sharing together today will be shared around the world. Unalaska is one of the most incredibly, fiercely loving and powerful communities anywhere. This is us. We love you. We love you. And we are loved. And we thank you for being here. And I'm just going to ask that for a moment we just sit quietly and think, because we have someone very special coming in to begin our evening together. God bless all of you, and we'll see you in a little bit.
by the spirits of our flesh, was trampled on death and overthrown the devil, and given life to the world. God the same Lord, give rise to soul, and departed coming to God, Karly and Chiara. In a place of brightness, a place of refreshment, a place of repose, where all sickness, sorrow, and sighing was fell away. Pardon every transgression which they have committed, whether by word, deed, or thought. Thou hast been taught by this mankind, because there is no man within it that not. For thou only art without sin, and thy righteousness is according to thee, and thy word is true. For thou hast resurrected the life of souls, both children, the husbands of God, Karly and Chiara. For the promise of both Christ our God, and Jesus and of glory, together with thy fathers from everlasting, and also with their life in the Spirit. Now and ever in the age of ages.
Good evening. My name is Frank Kelty. I'm the mayor of the city of Unalaska. I have to take care of some housekeeping before I get into my remarks. I have to identify all the emergency exits. We have one there, exit behind the stage. And also for people that are standing up, I don't know where we're standing for seating in the auditorium, but it's being streamed live with video and audio, the service over there as well. So if you need a place to sit down, check the auditorium. And lastly, please turn off your cell phones before we start the service. I want to thank the community for coming out tonight to show your love for Kiara, Karly, and your support, love, and concern for the McDonald and Haist families. Tonight's service is being called a memorial service, but I want to think of this as a celebration of life for these two beautiful girls, this time to remember and honor these young ladies who left us too soon. It is also important as a community to continue to assist the families as they deal with the unthinkable loss of their children. They're going to need our continued support and love as they deal with their grief over a long period of time. I must point out that the outreach done by the community immediately following the accident was tremendous. It shows what a caring, loving, strong, and close-knit community we are. To the McDonalds and Haist families, this community will always be there for you. You can count on us. I would also like to relay to families the many calls and emails that I've received at City Hall from people from around the state that have conveyed their condolences to the family and the community. Speaker of the House, Bryce Edmund, reached out to me on Sunday and stated that he would do 2 State of Alaska citations for Karly and Chiara when the legislature convenes in January of 2020. He also wanted to pass on his condolences to the families. I want to thank Unalaska's first responders. Thanks to our Police Chief Lucking, Fire Chief Thompson, Poetic Director McLaughlin, and thank your officers on behalf of the community for their professionalism and the risks they took as responders, and in some cases, risking their own well-being. The emotional stress of this accident has impacted them as well. I also want to thank Robert Cushion and Jude Newkirk, who were the first volunteer residents at the scene. United States Coast Guard Air Station Kodiak of the C-130 that brought out the Kodiak Mountain Rescue Team, the Unalaska City School District staff, teachers, the API Greek counselors that worked with the students during this trying time, did a great job. Please keep all the families in your thoughts and prayers. If you have children or grandchildren, give them a hug tonight and tell them how much you love them. In closing, I'd like to read a short poem by an anonymous writer. You are near, even if I don't see you. You are with me, even if you are far away. You are in my heart, in my thoughts, in my life, always. Now I'd like to call on Deacon Dan Winters of Catholic Church. Dan. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Dearest Jesus, who wept at the death of your friend Lazarus and taught that they who mourn shall be comforted, grant us the comfort of your presence as we mourn the loss of Karly McDonald and Kiara Haist. Send your Holy Spirit to direct us in our decisions. Send your Holy Spirit to give us courage, lest through fear we recoil from living. Send your Spirit to bring us your peace, lest bitterness, false guilt, or regret take root in our hearts. May the love of God and the peace of the Lord Jesus Christ bless and console all who are here and gently wipe every tear from our eyes. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, Shirley Marquardt.
Dear Unalaska, 1 week ago today, an unimaginable tragedy became a terrible reality. The grief that the loss of Karly and Chiara has unleashed in our souls is devastating and gone deep for the past 8 days. We've had a week to try to absorb and accept that this horrible accident did happen, at least in our heads. Tonight, we've gathered to mourn together, and I hope to start the eventual healing of our hearts. And I think we do that by keeping Chiara and Karly the focus of the celebration of life. Our mourning and healing depend on being able to hold who Karly and Chiara are and always will be in our hearts. Chiara and Karly were surrounded by the deepest love the moment they were born. And friendships that they treasured from the day they started school here in kindergarten and first grade and kept throughout their lives. Tonight, Karly and Chiara's beloved family and treasured friends, you're the ones who are surrounded by their love and by ours. The celebration of life is meant to enshrine memories of their laughter, compassion, their acceptance, their loyalties, and the dreams that were Chiara and Karly. Everyone here has been affected by this tragedy in one way or another, and will find that grief, mourning, and eventual healing has no timeline and finds its own path for each of us. So be kind to one another. Support and encourage each other. Life is a precious, precious gift. Live deeply and love deeply as you know Chiara and Karly would have. Be the best you can be in remembrance of Karly McDonald and Kiara Renteria Haist. Be their living memorials. I'd like to invite Linda Lineback Robinson and Josh Good up. My favorite name right now is Auntie Linda. She was one of the most perfectly beautiful babies I've ever held. I'm so lucky I got to know her. I'm so lucky the last time I saw her, she gave me a big birthday hug. She's powerful. I only have a couple things to say because I want to share this time with someone that means so much to her. First, I'm going to show you this rose. I think we have 200 of them that were handed out today. And we couldn't find enough olive branches in Alaska to hand out today. And I think you can understand the metaphor. It's for what college stood for. Karly went through a lot in her young life. She had a fierce, strong spirit and came across as being somewhat stubborn, and beautifully brilliant, and beautifully tough. And you're going to learn a little bit more about her today beyond what I have to say. But this olive branch here and these white roses that you're holding, they represent what Karly's family, and that includes me, and her Uncle Dennis, and all of her family here today. We believe that she wants love, forgiveness, compassion, understanding. Seek way down deep inside yourself for all that greatness that's inside there, because she was beginning to find it. One of her last posts on Facebook was these words right here. Neurologists claim that every time you resist acting on your anger, you're actually rewiring your brain to be calmer and more loving. It's one of the last posts she put on Facebook. Ironically, in the programs that you have today, the artist included fireweed. And I just wanted to share what the meaning of fireweed is. Fireweed actually has a symbol, and what fireweed symbolizes, it symbolizes release, rebirth, and potential for something innovative and new. How the artist knew, actually the artist didn't know that. She just felt it was the right flower for Karly. And then she looked it up and she said, yes, this is right. There is joy in so much of what we remember about Karly, and so much power. And I'd like to have one of her favorite teachers share some more about Karly. Today, I introduce Josh Good.
Thank you. I was asked earlier this week by Kayla to say something about Karly. As tough as it is, I'm honored. I'm lucky enough to have worked with Karly several times throughout her school. After seeing her and her classmates across the hall as fifth graders, they were all in my class of sixth grade. And she quickly earned a nickname. So from early on in the sixth grade year, she was called K-Mac. And since then, she's been K-Mac. So her size set her apart from the other students, or kind of lack thereof. And her spunk was ever present. And she walked almost with a bounce, those curls, just bouncing down the hall. But that spunk and that energy, it's as if her small stature couldn't hold it in. It was just ever present and almost overflowing. So her sixth grade year was great for both me and the entire class. Much of the classes, most classes here have been together since kindergarten, so I was one of the only new additions to their tiny community. And I was welcomed, and I've been close with many of the students since. K-Mac's no exception. When kids would leave my class, it seemed as if they would hover in space and time. And I've always told kids that once they're out of 5th or 6th grade, they move on to middle school, and I lose track of how old they are or what grade they're in. The last 2 years, I've been lucky enough to work with high school students, so I kind of have to keep track of their grades and what classes they're in. But And it's a unique spot, having been able to work with them as 11 and 12-year-olds, and then having them again as freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And it was great to have both the McDonald ladies back in our school. We miss them. And it was awesome to see how much they've grown and how much they've changed. And there have been plenty of progress while they were gone, but a few things about K-Mac remained the same. She hadn't gained too much height. Her curls still bounced down the hall, and that spunk. Still full of it. So first hour is a tough time of the day for most high schoolers. Karly's not excluded. But we had a fresh pot of coffee in class every day. Hey, kids in my welding class have a bit of caffeine to ease them into it. I see a couple of them smiling. Killing me. So I eased them into the work and the noise of the metal shop. And that little kickstart pushed aside the night before sleep, and it brought on the energy, the determination, and that spunk with K-Mac. At first, she was super reluctant to spark arcs and lay beads, but with time, her confidence increased, and she was keeping pace and improving her skill set with the best of the welders in our class. Maybe she was inspired by Jimmer and his welding action. Maybe it was being a lady in a shop full of dudes. Or maybe she just liked that electricity running through her hands. But for whatever reason, there was undoubtedly something inside her that pushed her to want to be the best and want to be great. At winter break, she swapped welding for a science class, and I didn't get to talk to her much other than in the hallways. Definitely not first hour. I miss having K-Mac in class, and I miss that spunk. And I'll always remember K-Mac with that bounce in her step, a fierce determination to be good at everything she does, and that spunk. Thanks for asking me to be here. My heart's good.
Hi to whoever's watching. My name is Luna, and I met Karly in Utah in a wilderness therapy program.
I'm Bloodstone Crow. I went to wilderness and residential with K-Mac, or Emerald Owl.
That was the name that she was given. We all received Earth names, which is names that one would receive when showing like a significant amount of change. The Emerald was for rebirth and growth and change, and Owl signifies wisdom and clarity.
In wilderness, we kind of became this little wilderness family.
She did a lot of growing up, and we all did a lot of growing up.
She had a great impact on everyone around her. It's probably one of the best times of my life. And I'm glad I got to share that with her.
We immediately got along. We immediately bonded, and we definitely got into some trouble. But despite how much our lives changed after we left the two programs that we were in, we never stopped being close.
Seeing her change with her environment, it was like watching a flower bloom.
Karly received a lot of honors when we were in Utah, and she was even granted a knife, which obviously is not something that every kid's gonna get, because you can't just go around giving these rebellious kids their knives, but Karly was special enough.
She was truly resilient in ways a lot of people wish they could be, ways I wish I could be.
Whenever I would be, going through it, it like hurt her so much to see me be upset.
She'd be that person that would see you in your own little hole, feeling alone, miserable, lost. And she'd crawl down in there with you, just to let you know you weren't by yourself. That you didn't have to do it alone. As her treatment family, We all loved her very much.
I'm glad that I had the time that I had with Karly, and I'm glad that I was able to love and be loved by someone so special.
Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction. Oh, beautiful release. Memories seep through my veins. Let me be empty. Oh, weightless, and maybe I'll find some peace tonight. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. In the arms of the angel, may
My name is Amy Perovsern, and students call me Mrs. P. Some of them call me Mrs. Parmesan. And I was Karly and Kiara's English teacher, and I'm really thankful to Josh for his words about Karly. And I just wanted to add that I was so proud of her and the distance that she had come and the grit that she showed in fighting her demons and reclaiming meaning in her life. Her spirit was really feisty, like the Aleutian winds, where she was born and to where she returned. And I feel so fortunate to have loved her and to have been her teacher. I was asked to speak today for Chiara, and I am so honored and I am humbled. In our 5.5 years together, Chiara easily taught me more than I ever did to her. She schooled me in everything from mental illness to cosmetology. Chiara excelled at so many things: art, friendship, acting, auntieship. Poetry was one of her real gifts. It was like a shortcut to wisdom, like she was wired for it. And her journey took her often through dark places, but she always had an eye on the light, with wit and with clarity. Sometime last year, Chiara let me in on a well-kept secret. She told me that she actually had ninja skills. Of course, this was her graceful way of poking fun at herself, since she was a self-proclaimed non-athlete. But it turned from this joke into this metaphor. She was cloaked in black and she liked to hang out in the shadows until it was her time to be on. Then she would metaphorically spring into the light, intimidatingly beautiful, energetic, smart, and graceful. And when she performed, every word was exact and practiced, and she threw punches with her insight. She would sneak up on you and just take your breath away. You would never know how terrified she was at performing. Yet despite her fear, she kept at it because she did everything the hard way. She picked the longest poems that hurt the most, but spoke her truth. She did it her way every time, and she did it perfectly, and she won. Chiara wrote with an old soul wisdom, and from her, roses bloomed. She saw so far beyond her own sorrow. She believed that everyone deserved happiness. She wanted this school, this country, this whole world to just shine for us all. She believed in equality, even though she carried the world's heavy imperfections on her shoulders. Chiara wanted people to be free to love who they loved, to believe what they believed, to be welcome no matter who they were or where they came from. She wanted women to be so strong and valued that feminism would be outdated. And when this wasn't the case, when she sensed inequality, she felt sadness. Yet her life was a model of acceptance. She didn't judge or stereotype. She just took people as they came, from best friends to fourth graders to newcomers, and she gave them everything she had. And they loved her for that. They still do. She was their beacon of light. Kiara Renteria Haist, your short life has not been in vain. You have changed the hearts and lives of all who knew you. I want you to know that you are still with us in your poems, in your stories, in the books and the characters that you fell in love with, the pages that you kept returning to for guidance. I want you to know that your words will live on just like you will in our hearts. I want you to know that despite the depths of our collective despair, I have never felt so much love in my whole life. I see it in everyone's eyes. I feel it in the tender spring air, in every breath, in the way we hold each other tight. Because of you, love has sprung up in us all, like sunflowers after days and days of rain. The poem that you are about to hear was Kiara's all-time favorite. And this performance won her a regional championship last year. It's startling close to what we're feeling today, so hold on tight. Thank you, and we love you, Kiara.
The Gaff by C.K. Williams. If that's someone who's me, yet not me, yet who judges me as always with me, as he is, shouldn't he have been there when I said so long ago that thing I said? If he who rakes me with such not trivial shame for minor sins now or there then, shouldn't he have warned me he'd even now devastate me for my unpardonable affront? I'm a child then, yet already have composed this conscious beast who harries me. Is there anything else I can say with certainty about who I was, except that he could already draw from infinitesimal transgressions, complex chords of remorse, and orchestrate ever undiminishing retribution from the hapless rest of myself? The son of some friends of my parents has died, and my parents, paying their call, take me along. And I'm sent out with the dead boy's brother and some others to play. We're joking around, and some words come to my mind, which to my amazement are said. How do you know when you can laugh when somebody dies? Your brother dies, is what's said. And the others go quiet, the backyard goes quiet, everyone stares, and I want to know now why that someone in me who's me yet not me let me say it. Shouldn't he have told me the contrition cycle would from then be ever upon me? It didn't matter that I really only wanted to know how grief ends and when. I could hear the boy's mother sobbing inside, then stopping, sobbing, then stopping. Was the end of her grief already there? Had her someone in her told her it would end? Was her someone in her kinder to her, not tearing at her as mine did, still does me for guessing grief someday ends? Is that why her sobbing stops sometimes? She didn't laugh though, or I never heard her. How do you know when you can laugh? Why couldn't someone have been there in me, not just to accuse me, but to explain? The kids were playing again. I was playing. I didn't hear anything more from inside. The way now, sometimes what's in me is silent too, and sometimes, though never really, forgets.
Look up from the ground to see your sad and teary eyes. You look away from me and I see there's something you're trying to hide. And I reach for your hand but it's cold. You pull away again and I wonder what's on your mind. And then you say to me you made a dumb mistake. You start to tremble and your voice begins to break. You say the cigarettes on the counter weren't your friends, they were my mates. And I feel the color draining from my face. And my friend said, I know you love her but it's over, mate. It doesn't matter, put the phone away. It's never easy to walk away. Let her go, it'll be okay. It's gonna hurt for a bit of time. So bottoms up, let's forget tonight. You find another and you'll be just fine. Let her go. Nothing heals the past like time, and they can't steal the love you're born to find. But nothing heals the past like time, and they can't steal the love you're born to find. I know you love her but it's over, mate. It doesn't matter, put the phone away. It's never easy to walk away. Let her go, it'll be okay. It's gonna hurt for a bit of time. So bottoms up, let's forget tonight. You find another and you'll be just fine. Let her go.
It's all right to take a couple minutes. After that, just take some deep breaths. What beautiful, beautiful young woman. A woman named Penny Leggett is with us tonight. Penny is no stranger to excruciating grief, loss, and an eventual healing of a grievous wound. Penny now has, even more so than her prior friendship with McDonald, she now has a very personal bond with both families, as well as many others in this room. It's not a bond anyone would want, but it's there. Penny is an Emmy Award-winning journalist, and activist, and storyteller. She's worn many hats in her career, including serving as an actress and television anchor in Seattle, Washington. In recent years, Penny has become an advocate for people suffering from addiction and loss. And she has a very strong story to share with us tonight and help us navigate that path that we need to try to start navigating towards the healing of the heart. Would you please help me welcome Penny Leggett?
In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your ears. Those are the words of Abraham Lincoln, who also lost a child. And didn't Karly and Chiara live big in the years they had? When it comes to dealing with the loss of a child, Lincoln's words somehow fall a little short. For the death of a child is the worst thing that any human being can experience. It's excruciating. It's the wrong order of things. No one wants to outlive their children. You want to die. On the Richter scale of life's big challenges, it's the worst. It's the big one. I know this because I lost my precious daughter, Mira, at age 19, almost exactly 7 years ago. So my name is Penny Legade. I'm from Seattle and have been a longtime friend of Alyssa and Jimmer's and the whole McDonald family. Thank you for this invitation to be here with you. Alyssa and Jimmer asked me if I would share some thoughts with you today. And I really prayed hard about this, and I hope that some of the words and experiences and the things I can pass on to you, if there's one tiny little thing you can hang on to during this really challenging time, then I hopefully have been the conduit of love and compassion from our God that I want to be tonight. So let's begin with grief. If you would, close your eyes with me. Close your eyes and journey inward. Inside each person here tonight, and those listening on our stream, is a light. Sometimes this light burns bright and fiercely. Maybe right now that light is a long ways away. Maybe it's just a little flicker, but it's there. Maybe you've had to travel down a long, dark labyrinth to find it right now, but it's there. This is the light within each of us that you can always tap into at any time, anywhere, that will always lead the way. You could open your eyes now. Grief is the thing that none of us want to feel and face. But you know what? We're human beings. And because of the nature of humanity, we need relationships with people. We need our relationships to sustain us, to support us, to give us love, to give us meaning. All of you are here with your people, the people you love. But when death interferes with that relationship of a loved one, we have to grieve. This is our time when we are at the utmost of our humanity, our most vulnerable. And you know what? I also learned it's the time when we're most alive. Because we live our lives in routine. We get up, we might take a shower, we eat some breakfast, we go drive to work, we go to school, we run some errands, we go about our daily business, we come home, we eat, we go to sleep, only to do it all over again and over again. There's a numbness to our routines. Grief destroys routine. We're peeled raw, exposed. But in this exposure, in this time, in this most human, vulnerable, raw time of our lives, we see things with all new eyes. You may not have noticed the sun glinting on the waves. It looks different now. You might have not paid attention to an eagle's call, because there's so many here. But maybe now you'll hear it differently. Perhaps you'll notice the tiny leaf unfurling on a twig. It's a gift. Grief can be a gift. At a time of grief, we often feel anger. There are many stages of grief. One of them is anger. The anger of, why was it my daughter? Why now? Why did this happen to us? Why did their lives get cut short? This anger wants to put out that little light inside of you. But don't let it. It'll consume you if you let it. With anger has to come forgiveness. My daughter died of a heroin overdose. She was much like these two girls. She was impetuous and stubborn and willful and smart, charismatic. She carried a lot of pain inside of her, despite her popularity and her beauty. And she chose drugs to try to numb the pain. We tried everything we could as a family to help her. She tried to help herself. And this is what I learned, is we think our children are ours. We think they belong to us, that we own them, we have ownership. Because when they're born, we bandage every scrape, we change their diapers, we feed them, we choose their clothing, the food they're going to eat, lots of times the schools they go to, where they're going to live. We're in control. And then we're not. And they choose their own individual path, no matter how much we love them. No matter how much we try to guide them, they are going to choose their own individual path, like each and every one of you are. So, forgiveness. I had to forgive Mara. I had to forgive her for choosing drugs. I had to forgive her for making our family life miserable at times. It was really hard. I had to forgive the relapse after she'd been in recovery for months that claimed her life. And you know what? I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself that I didn't know then what I know now about drug addiction. That it's a disease and it needs medical treatment, not shame and judgment and stigma. I tried never to treat my daughter like that way, and I hope I didn't along the way, but I know so much more now than I did then. I have to forgive myself for not knowing more. I had to forgive the boy that sold her the drugs. He's just a cog in a long chain of pharmaceutical companies and drug cartels and other people who are struggling with addiction. And I learned that forgiveness is a gift that I've given myself. And you also give that gift to the memory of your loved one. Last but not least, how in the heck do we heal? This is a difficult one because each and every one of us heals in a different way. And when you love somebody and you see them suffering, you want them to get better. You want them to stop crying, you want them to stop aching, you want them to stop wanting to be alone or being morose. Everybody here has to grieve in your own way. Some put all the pictures away. Some take them all out and plaster their walls with them. Some need friends, some need solitude. All I can advise you is to just lean into it. Lean into your grief. Lean into your loss. Let it flow. Let it flow. Because you know what? There's no getting over it. We don't get over this. And no one should tell you you should. You don't get over it. But you can move forward with it. And you can find joy in it. I didn't think so. The day my daughter died, I said I will never smile and be happy again in my life. And I have been, many times. And she would want that. So healing, healing, healing. I find it's only possible with gratitude. Do you know when we think about things we're grateful for, that our body chemistry actually changes? If you wake up in the morning and this is lying heavy on your heart, just think of 3 things you're grateful for. And you'll find there's so many more. And you know what? You'll feel yourself change. You might even smile. For me, gratitude is what fuels that little fire in me, that little flame. It grows brighter and warmer when I'm grateful. And there's so much to be grateful for. In this middle of the deepest, darkest days of our life, we can find gratitude. And I am so grateful for this community. I already feel a part of it. I've only been here a few days. When I talked to Alyssa and found out what happened, I said, "Where are you?" And she said, "I'm in Dutch Harbor." And I was so relieved, because I knew this was a place that could take care of her. You had deep bonds with people here. This is an amazing community. I don't know how much you know what you have here. It's special. It's rare. And the love and support and care you're giving each other makes me feel so grateful. I heard it like in the notes of the band concert. I heard the community. I felt it when I got off the plane. There was community there to greet me. I've seen it in action in this, in the home, in the McDonald home. Family, yes, but the community has served all of you so deeply. I'm grateful for all of you. I want to share something with you as I wrap up here that meant so much to me. My older daughter, Molly, had this sent to her from a Facebook friend. And it gave me so much peace. And it gave me a structure for how to work through my grief. I still think about it 7 years later, and I think I'll think about it till the day I die. It's a piece that's somewhat anonymous. It's come through Facebook through a friend to her, and Molly read it to me the morning after Mara had passed away. And it's called Waves, written by a man that all we know of him is G. Snow. Here it is. All right, here goes. I'm old. What that means is that I've survived so far, and a lot of people I've known and loved did not. I've lost friends, best friends, acquaintances, co-workers, grandparents, my mother, relatives, teachers, mentors, students, neighbors, and a host of other folks. I have no children, and I can't imagine the pain it must be to lose a child. But here's my 2 cents. I wish I could say you get used to people dying. I never did. I don't want to. It tears a hole through me whenever somebody I love dies, no matter the circumstances. But I don't want it to not matter. I don't want it to be something that just passes. My scars are a testament to the love and the relationship that I had for and with that person. And if the scar is deep, so was the love. So be it. Scars are a testament to life. Scars are a testament that I can love deeply and live deeply and be cut and gouged, and that I can heal and continue to live and continue to love. And the scar tissue is stronger than the original flesh ever was. Scars are a testament to life. Scars are only ugly to people who don't see. As for grief, you'll find it comes in waves. When the ship is first wrecked, you're drowning with wreckage all around. Everything floating around you reminds you of the beauty and magnificence of the ship that was and is no more. And all you can do is float. You find some piece of the wreckage and you hang on. You hang on for a while. Maybe it's some physical thing. Maybe it's a happy memory or a photograph. Maybe it's a person who's also floating. For a while, all you can do is float. Stay alive. In the beginning, the waves are 100 feet tall and they crash over you without mercy. They come 10 seconds apart, and they don't even give you time to catch your breath. All you can do is hang on and float. After a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, you'll find the waves are still 100 feet tall. They come a little further apart. And when they come, they still crash all over you and wipe you out. But in between, you can breathe. You can function. You never know what's going to trigger the grief. It might be a song, a picture, a street intersection, a smell, a cup of coffee. It can be just about anything. And the wave comes crashing. But in between waves, there's life. Somewhere down the line, and it's different for everybody, you find that the waves are now only 80 feet tall, or 50 feet tall. And while they still come, they come farther apart. You can see them coming. An anniversary, a birthday, the holidays. You can see it coming. For the most part, you can prepare yourself. And when it washes over you, you know that somehow you will, again, come out on the other side. Soaking wet and sputtering and still hanging on to some tiny piece of wreckage. But you'll come out. Take it from an old guy. The waves never stop coming. And somehow you don't really want them to. But you learn that you'll survive them. And other waves will come. And you'll survive them too. And if you're lucky, you'll have lots of scars from lots of loves and lots of shipwrecks. God bless Dutch Harbor. God bless Chiara and Karly. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. Tonight we've got a special song written by Ben James, accompanied by Linda Robinson, called Two Angels Over Ballyhoo.
Can you turn the lights on just for a second, please? Thanks, man. Thank you. Oh, you can turn it off now. Thank you. You can turn the lights back on if you'd like. Yeah, thanks, man. Sorry, Matt. Saw the flashing lights as we headed out past Little Creek. Wind brought sounds of sirens as we crossed our bow from west to east. Didn't see what they were there to do. I thought I saw two angels over Ballyhoo. It seemed to her like the head was crying. I'd never seen it so. Sadness lingered over me like the squalls you think will never go. Sun wasn't as bright as it rose. Thought I saw two angels over Ballyhoo. The rock was pointing at the sky, as if to say, look up, as if to show me something I soon need to feel faith's empty cup. I know what I some already knew. Thought I saw two angels over Ballyhoo. Even past the pilot station, moved by what I've seen and heard. Found a blank page in the logbook and I wrote this down in simple words. Those who read can take these words as true. Thought I saw two angels over Ballyhoo. Thought I saw two angels, they were not there long. They rose up in that sadness sky like the last notes of a song. Over to Nirvana, then the haystack and away. And I could tell just by the way they flew. I'd seen two angels over Ballyhoo. Like these words of comfort now for you. Though I saw two angels over Ballyhoo.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Linda. So, here we are, what sometimes is called remembrances, and other times community sharing. And it is a chance for people who knew Chiara and Karly, and maybe have something that they wish to say, to tell people about them, whether they were a member of the family, or they're a dear friend, or just somebody who knows the family and is grieving with them. And it's hard to do. I asked my daughter Emma about this, and she said, Mom, it really takes deep courage to be that vulnerable, and it might be too early for some people. And we understand that. So either spoken tonight, or in your heart for now, the memories, things that Karly and Kiara said or did, they keep them alive. They keep them present. If you are able to share a remembrance of Chiara or Karly tonight, please feel free to come down and do so. If you just can't yet, that's okay. It's all right. You will find your own time and your own place to do so. We'd like to start out tonight with a poem written by Elizabeth Mears that I think really set the stage for this portion of the evening. Elizabeth.
I knew both Kiara and Karly very well. I don't have many words. A novel couldn't do these two girls justice, so I wanted to share a poem. Dear Kiwi, the day before we were complaining about boy problems. I wish my worst heartbreak was over a guy. I thought it was broken, but now it's shattered. I tried to sleep, but I made sounds of agony I've never heard before. I need your smile again, or the way you tilt your head and give me a shrug when we both can't stomach one. I got my nails done today to match the makeup we practiced yesterday. Bright and sparkly, the way I like it, like you know. You'd laugh at me attempting to type with these acrylics. It's my first time. My hype girl, even when the hyping wasn't that high. My friend I'd run to when I was having an emotional breakdown. I remember that time the world turned ever so slightly. I walked outside to get some fresh air, and Kiwi stopped in front of my house and said, I needed to check up on you. I felt like something was wrong. She knew before I did. She was a soul that benefited this world. 2 days apart we were born. I've been with you since we had SpongeBob teeth, even before. You were my triplet, Mexican and German. We both had our scars, whether they were visible or not. We both had mastered the art of smiling, even when our minds didn't match. I'll miss our nights of romance movies. I'm going to get a tattoo for you. They were never my thing, they were yours. I'll overthink it, but you already know that. I can't finish this, but you would have known that too. Because my dear Kiwi, your life isn't finished. You've touched so many, and will only continue through eternal memories. I'm merely one who you've been able to bring a smile to, and am truly honored. Thank you, Kiara and Karly.
Bowman Harvey. I'm up here just as a messenger for Derek and Diane this evening, and also for my daughters, who Kiara was Nan. I'm going to read something that Diane wrote. Kiara, our angel. How do we start this when we don't understand the why, the how, and the what of it? You, baby girl, were one of the best things God had blessed us with. Your respect and tolerance for others was truly something to behold. And we always know you were the old soul for the love you gave everyone. You suffered silently with your depression and your anxiety, and yet you still worried about others, always putting them before yourself. You were loving, compassionate, and tried to be the fixture for everyone. You advocated for others. You did not tolerate bullying, disrespect, or judgmental people. You were our baby girl. You understood us and always got us where we needed to be. You may have been our youngest, but you led like you were the oldest. You honored and respected your sisters. You loved your nieces like you were their mother. And we will always tell them about their loving aunt. Kiwi, we don't understand why this happened, and we probably never will. And we know you're asking us to forgive, and for you, one day we will. But today all we know is our angel grew her wings and flew away. God must have needed you more. We may never be able to hear your voice, hear your laughter, or see your beautiful face again, but baby, we will always love you like the day you were born. Till we see you again, guide us, because we're lost without you. We love you, Mom and Dad. My wife and I have 2 children together, and Kiara was an incredible aunt. As parents, I know there's a lot of you out there in the crowd, and me and Nicole tried to kind of curate the type of people our daughters have in their life, so that every relationship they had around them was intentional. And Kiara was someone we were both very proud and excited to have in our daughter's life, especially our oldest, Marlene, and she will be missed. Thank you.
My name is Nicole Zamora Harvey, and I'm Kiara's older sister. Kiara, I was 13 years old when Kiara was born, and up until that point, I had always been the baby. So when my mom came home with Kiara to the school and greeted us outside of the office, despite my unwillingness and unfavorable idea of giving up my throne, I was excited to be a big sister, and I knew that Kiara was special, and that she was unique. And when my mom was waiting for me outside of the office, I looked down at Kiara in her car seat, and I said, "My baby," and I carried her outside of the school. And today, 18 years to the day almost to the day that she was supposed to graduate, I carried my baby sister's ashes through the hallways to this room. And while I'm still trying to make sense of a world without Kiara in it, one thing that Kiara really impressed upon me was that the importance, rather, of being able to form authentic and lasting relationships with other people. And that love is an action, and it should be demonstrated in everything that you do. And I have had many experiences throughout my life. And one thing that I know is that you can either run away from them and try to avoid them and try to distract yourself from the way that they make you feel. Or, as Penny mentioned, you can run towards them and you can allow them to reshape who you are and derive meaning from them. And one thing that I know is that Kiara would not want this horribly tragic event to be meaningless. And one time I told Kiara, as she was struggling in school as I did, that you're not responsible for the results, but you are responsible for the effort. And this I impress upon all of you, the community that is grieving and trying to move towards healing together. You too are responsible for the effort and the meaning that we all will derive from this experience. And to Jimmer and Alyssa, I am so sorry for your loss. I do not know what it is like to lose a child, and God forbid that I should ever find out. But I know what it's like now to lose someone who is very close to me. And it is not a pain that I would wish on my worst enemy. So, I just wanted to take the time to thank each and every one of you in Unalaska for the support and the love and the generosity that you have shown both families, but especially my own, during this incredibly tragic event. And I'm just thankful that I was able to make it and be here. Thank you.
Chiara was my neighbor's girlfriend, and she was the one with the little black shoes. I wrote a poem titled Little Black Shoes. It was midwinter in Unalaska, and I'd started a new health routine. You know, I had to get ready for summer. And the New Year's resolutions were on my mind, and this year was going to be the best ever. I was working out like crazy, eating better, and I would bring home part of my lunch each day for dinner and deposit it in the refrigerator. The Arctic entry at my place has welcoming mats and painted rocks showing who lives at what door. The smell of hot, savory soup creeping under the door was a daily occurrence for my neighbor. They have children, you know, and a stay-at-home mom, and the little family would meet together for lunch each day. Sometimes the children would invite their friends to lunch. One day, on my lunch run, I was holding containers of food and stepped on some little black shoes. It was dark in the Arctic entry, and I did not see them, and almost lost my footing. Dang, what is this? I said to myself, looking down at these little black shoes. They were so petite. They were so beautiful. They were so respectful. Little black shoes of door. Then the flood of memories of my own family, long grown with children of their own, how I missed the little shoes, the girlfriends, the family gatherings. Memories from a time long gone were as fresh as the day they were made. As the months went by, I loved seeing those little black shoes at the door. It was welcoming. And I smiled each day, loving them because of what they meant to me. Today, when I brought the containers of food to the house, there were no little black shoes. Only tears filled my eyes, and sorrow filled my heart as I put my containers of food away.
It's tough, but it really means a tremendous amount to the family, even though if it's a few words or a simple remembrance.
This is for both Karly and Kiara from Jennifer, a really close friend to both of them. To the girls, it's been a while. I'd love to call again. Let's go on an adventure. Let's do makeup. Let's have a bonfire and s'mores. How I'd love to ask you guys, I wanted to say goodbye. Goodbye to the girls that never fail to keep a smile on my face. Goodbye to my best friends. Goodbye to the quirky jokes. Goodbye to the random I love yous that we'd send each other to lift our spirits up for the week. Goodbye to the artists we've lost. Goodbye to my angels. And even though I'd love to be here with everyone, I can't. All I wanted to let you guys know was I love you, and my heart goes out to the girls and everyone that loved them just as much as I did. We didn't truly lose them. They're the angels looking over Ballyhoo. They're the angels walking through the halls forever in the hallways. They're here. We don't know it, but they are. We aren't letting go. We're just saying bye for now. I love you girls. To my babies. That rest easy. Rest in paradise. Love, Jenny.
Hi everybody. Kiara, she was my best friend, and I remember one day she, after taking notes in math class, she ran out of ink in her pink pen, and she gave it to me, and she says, as long as you have this pen, we'll be best friends. And now I have it next to my bed, and I just like to click it. You know, it's crazy how something that insignificant as a pen can mean so much to one person. And I'll keep it forever. Karly, me and Karly, we weren't best friends, but we were still pretty close friends. I remember one of the first times that I was hanging out at one of her kickbacks. She looked over at me and she said, "How's it going, Ethan?" And I said, "I'm doing pretty okay." And she was like, you know what, Ethan? I need to invite you to more of my kickbacks. And I said, really? Why? And she said, because you're one of the nicest people that I know, and I love having you around. And that just kind of shows the kind of person that she was. She was kind and caring, and even though we didn't hang out that much, she was still a great person to have around. And both of these girls will be missed so much. Sorry. And they'll be in my heart forever, and I'll never forget them. No matter how much I miss them, I'll never forget them. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Audrey. I actually wrote this a couple days ago after I found out, so I have to read some words though. Karly, my little butthead, my moon. You were the craziest girl I ever met. You drove me crazy, but I loved it. You made me smile so much, and you made me laugh, and you gave me so many memories that I'll cherish forever. You got me in so much trouble, man. I remember when it first started, we were talking in class one day after I came back from California. We got really close and you asked me if I wanted to spend the night. I think I ended up staying the whole weekend, and your room still had that big bookshelf in it, and I was so amazed because I love books. I left my first pillow pet there in the corner. It was brown, and it was a dog, and it was my favorite thing ever, but you know, you can have it. We played Minecraft all night, and I think we were playing Skyrim, but that's all we did. And then we ate that cheese pasta you made for me, and we left it under your bed, but your dog ate it. Me, you, and Lauren, that was a trio, man. We would spend the night at her house, and it always smelled like cinnamon and her dogs. I miss that smell. We would paint our nails and watch movies, stay up all night, talking about life as if we knew what we were talking about. We were in 5th grade. Trying to look at the stars when we couldn't even see them because the clouds were always in the way and we were lying on our trampoline. I miss that and I miss us. When you came back, I wasn't expecting us to get close, but we did. You had such a good vibe and I just wanted to be with you all the time. Your little jokes that you always made, that made me laugh when I was sad. I remember at a bonfire, a few of us walked into the Unalaska dock and we were talking about you being back and how much you love this island. This island was your home, man. You loved it here, and I think you're the only person that shared that with me. I remember us having a conversation about me moving back to become a teacher, and you were talking about living here forever, and I wish that was true, and I wish that you were here. And I'm sad that you were gone, and I have never been so heartbroken. And I thought that I knew what heartbreak was, but I was so wrong. This is what it feels like. Who's going to bring a quart of iced coffee to fisheries? Who's going to watch Rick and Morty videos with me pretending like we're doing water tests? Who's going to have those private talks with me? And who's going to play Eminem as loud as they can in their big red truck named Clifford? No one can, Karly, only you. No one can replace you and the things you did. It's only been a couple days, and I wish I would have spent more time with you. I wish I would have made more of an effort just to be there, to have more talks, and just to see your contagious smile. Your smile literally made my day. I remember when you and Luke randomly picked me up from my house, and we drove everywhere, and we barely talked, but it was just so nice to be in your presence. We sang along to a million songs and went to the most random places. I think when I got closest to you, though, was when me, you, Jordan, and Light hung out all the time. We would talk about life and our past, and I would complain about certain people, and you would tell me things to make me feel better and less irritated. Oh man, we spent a lot of time in that van, dude. It was kind of our home for a while. I wanted that van so bad because it had so many memories that I wanted to keep, and I think we drove up Summer's Bay like every day. Or at least every other day. I'm pretty sure you even drove that van over the bridge, and of course I was in the back and I was scared as hell. You were by far the greatest loss I will ever have in my life. You were one of the closest friends, and we distanced, but we always still talked. And I can't believe the last thing we talked about how the guy that was playing the accordion looked like he was having a spasm. Today I went in the auditorium and sat where we were, And I just try to imagine you still being there with me, us laughing, trying to keep our voices down, and you talking about getting your nails done after school. They were gonna be beautiful, just like you. I love you so much, and I will never forget all the trouble we got in together. You will always be in my heart, and every time I look into the moon after all this, I will only think about you. You are my moon, Karly, and I'm going to have to realize it sometime. Karly, I miss you so much. You had so much light in you and everyone saw it. You have been such a big impact in my life. I can't and won't forget you. I love you, Karly. Love, 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 love.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I don't really have a speech or anything, but Chiara was my rock. She's the reason that I am still here. And for that, I'm really thankful. And Karly, she was my little firecracker. She was crazy, but in the best way. She always had the craziest ideas and was down to do whatever, whether it was driving around in my minivan, going to Summer's Bay, looking for rocks, or climbing and hiking and doing whatever. And Chiara, she had a beautiful way of making me feel like everything was okay and that it would be. And for them, I know that I have to keep going and live my life in the best way that I can.
Good evening. I was debating whether to share or not, but I think it's important to know the kind of person that Chiara was. Met her a long time ago. We always called her in Spanish, La Niña Hermosa con los ojos tristes, the beautiful girl with the saddest eyes. But if you knew her, those eyes just have full of life. And I'm thankful, and there's stuff that happened in my family in the last 2 years. And Chiara has been part of Jay's life wherever she babysat, and she had been mentoring her through the pain and the sorrow that we just went through. And to see how much love Chiara poured into Jay, even though she put all her problems and everything aside, it's just the kind of child that was raised in this community, the kind of kids that were bringing up. We breathe life into them, and they breathe life back. I met Karly when Alyssa and I worked at the bank. You know, I remember was this ball of hair walking in with attitude. She looked at me, you speak Spanish? And she wanted us to practice Spanish, so she would practice Spanish with me. Just a little firecracker. They moved away. When she came back, I didn't even know that it was her, and then she walks out and she's like, I remember you. And I said, yeah, I remember you too, little firecracker. And ever since she came back, we had a little joke among us. She would always say, don't deny your pearls, because I would talk to her about crazy things that I want to do and things that she said, what's stopping you? You got curly hair, I got curly hair, I get what I want. So that became an inside joke between us. And she was the sweetest kid because she can pick up when you're sad, and she knew exactly what to say. So, you know, look around at the kids, even though you don't know them, we still breathe life into them. And I'm very thankful for Chiara because my daughter went through a tough time. She wrote a song for the girls, and she's in the back crying because the kind of tough time she went through is something my family could have not survived without Chiara. Jade has a beautiful picture that Chiara helped her take because she was mentoring her in photography as well. But I'm very thankful. Diane, you raised an amazing daughter. And I love you, and I will always love Chiara. And my little crazy curly hair, Karly, I will miss them both.
Growing up with Karly, I always knew that I was the older sister. And
I knew that because whenever I got a new toy, she would always want to play with it. And whenever I had friends over, she'd always want to come into the room and play with us. But as time passed, I started to think that maybe those roles were changing. Whenever we went shopping together, I'd always go to her and ask her, what do you think of this shirt? What do you think of these pants? Do you think I should buy this or this or this? And whenever she got into new music or was listening to a new song, I'd always ask her, you know, what's the name of that song or what's the name of that band? And when she moved back to Unalaska, I followed her here. But I think now I realize that she was my role model. And I looked up to her so much. And she's always going to be my little sister.
Hi, everyone. I am Karly's aunt, and you can call me Auntie Chris. When I came to this community on Friday, I was raw, and I didn't know what to expect, and your community is absolutely amazing. I now understand why my niece wanted to be here. You guys were the wind beneath her wings, and from the bottom of our hearts for both families, I want to say thank you for the outpouring and support, your meals, your calls, your love, your hugs. Oh my God, I hugged my brother-in-law so hard I almost broke, well, his ribs were already broken. But he told us later, and we kind of stopped that hugging. But for the rest of you who've taken time out of your day to help us, you don't know how important it's been to lift someone up when our hearts have been where they've been, and you're raising us up again. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've never seen a community do what you've done. You are awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, sharing those memories and remembrances have been very powerful. But probably nothing is more powerful than what has already been said, looking out at the love and the support in this room. I would say it's astonishing, but I'm from Unalaska, so it's pretty normal. But it is astonishing. What we're going to do next to close out the evening is going to be 3 different items. And first is going to be Alyssa Kiara McDonald, along with her rock Linda, is going to sing Heaven Was Needing a Hero. Then Pastor John Honan, on behalf of the Unalaska Christian Fellowship, will come up for a closing prayer. And when he's done, in a time of remembrance and quiet, one of our own from kindergarten, Aaron Adams, is going to play Amazing Grace. And when Aaron's done and the final notes disappear over Ballyhoo, this evening will be finished. But remember, celebration of life is not. It will go on in your own time, in your own way. So thank you, Alyssa.
Well, I had to let you. If I knew the last time was the last time that I'd hold you, I'd have held you, never let go. It's kept me awake at night, wondering. Lie in the dark, just asking why. I've always been told you won't be called home till it's your time. I guess heaven was leading to heroes, somebody just like you. Brave enough to stand up for what you believe in, and you follow it through. When I try to make it make sense in my mind, the only conclusion I come to is heaven was leading to heroes, leads to. I remember the last time I saw you. You both held your heads up high. I laughed inside when I saw how you were both standing out in a crowd. You're such a part of who I am. Now that part will just be void. No matter how much I need you now, heaven needed you more. Heaven was leading to heroes, somebody just like you. Brave enough to stand up for what you believe in, and you follow it through. When I try to make it make sense, the only conclusion I come to is heaven was leading to you. Can you please help me? Heaven was leading to you.
Alyssa. Thank you. A lot of love in this room. Thank you, Lord. Let's take a moment and just let the Lord pour his love upon us and fill us up. Father in heaven, we have come before you broken, pouring out our sorrow at your feet over the loss of Kiara and Karly. But Father, you see the depth of our emptiness. Help us heal. Come, Holy Spirit. Come now. In Jesus' name, release the Holy Spirit peace and healing. Increase it, Lord, right now. Make it stronger. Intensify your love among us as we sit here. Wash over us with a great wave of love, bigger than ever before, we pray. Thank you, Lord. We just receive that love right now. Pour it out, pour it out, pour it out. Thank you, Lord. I ask also that the celebration of life prom tomorrow will be a healing time of precious memories we will always have. Thank you for hearing us tonight. In Jesus' powerful name, amen.
had a wonderful team. We call them Team Angels over in the refreshment corner. There are gluten-free and dietarily specific desserts and savory items for those of you who'd like to share with us.